Okay, good morning, everybody. Today is Monday morning, which means it is time for another episode of CrivCast, a Pokemon podcast. I am Criv Gaming, and welcome. Again, friends, here at CrivCast, we talk about all things Pokemon. I have some really awesome guests that come through. We talk about my point of view, their point of view. The chat chimes in with what they got as far as thoughts go, and overall, it's a great time, so make sure you stick around. But, as we always do, it's Monday, which means we gotta start off with a little bit of Tell Me Something Good.
Tell me something good.
Okay, in Tell Me Something Good news today. First off, I'd like to give a shout out to Ruckus. Congratulations on affiliate friend. Also want to give a shout out to Fighters. Unfortunately, Fighters was in a car crash this weekend, but he came out relatively unscathed, so good to hear that you are doing well. Also, shout out to Steinman, who was able to reconnect with some awesome family and friends this weekend, which is something she was not able to do, as well as a welcome to all of our new friends who joined in our streamer collab with Among Us. So, it's been a good week. We've got some really awesome news from a lot of people. Of course, everybody's not as included here. But, as always, if you have something in that Tell Me Something Good or something good you want to tell me, make sure you drop it in the Discord. You can find the link below in the description here on the video. But, as always, friends, that's a little bit of our Tell Me Something Good.
Tell me something good.
Always a good way to start off the Monday. But without further ado, I am excited to announce our guest today. So without further ado, let's go check out Chasey. She's going to be... Welcome, Chasey.
Good morning.
How are you doing this morning, Chasey? What's going on?
Pretty good here. Pretty good. Can't complain.
Exactly. It is Family Day today in Canada, which I did not know was a real holiday. Shout out to our Canadian friends. So Chasey was able to get the day off work, which means she's able to join us on the podcast. Chasey, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a super boring Canadian who just started streaming not too long ago, actually.
Okay.
Kind of riding off the success of my boyfriend.
Okay.
But I'm a Pokemon streamer too, because that's all I can play at the moment. But I grew up with the series, absolutely love it, and yeah, I'm pretty boring otherwise.
No,
I
you're
work
good.
at a bank.
Chasey, what's your favorite Pokemon?
Bayleaf.
Bayleaf? Okay, I can respect that.
Yeah.
Gosh, at least it's not Cyndaquil, right? That would be pretty embarrassing.
Yeah,
if your favorite
that would be so embarrassing.
No, but thank you, Chasey. We're super excited to have you again. Chasey is newer to the streamer scene, as she said. Make sure you check her out. Her link will be below in the description as well. Or if you're watching here on Twitch, we'll make sure she gets a shout out here at the end. But Chasey, we're excited to have you. Today,
Thank you.
We are going to be talking through, we essentially built our own gyms by type. So we took 8 of the different Pokemon types, split them up, each of us got 4, and we're going to talk through our selections and why we picked the Pokemon that we did. But before we get there, friends, we're going to be talking about a little bit of Pokemon in the news. So, in today's Pokemon in the news, again, everybody has been raving on Twitter about this one. I don't know how I feel about it, but Post Malone is going to be doing a Pokemon concert here, on the 25th?
27th.
First Katy Perry, now Post Malone. They're getting popular music names to help rep Pokemon, but I don't know how these people fit the Pokemon brand. What are your thoughts on this, Chasey?
I mean, I think Katy Perry does kind of fit too. I'm not super familiar with Post Malone's music, which I know may be something of a sin.
Right.
But I feel like they're trying to appeal more to like a wider audience. Like they're trying to bring people who didn't grow up with the series into the series, because I think Pokemon knows that their current target audience is like the 20-somethings now.
Right.
Because we've all grown up with the series, and now they kind of want to go, hey, look, how about these Gen Zers who aren't super familiar with us? Maybe we can appeal to them in other ways to bring them in.
I agree with that. Now, again, we've discussed this here multiple times. Pokemon has been doing, I feel like, had a very big effort on trying to expand as people that grew up with Pokemon, and I know I'm not there yet, and you're not there yet, but as they start having kids and stuff like that, you know what I mean? It's sort of like they're trying to get these, like you said, this younger generation reintroduced. So I could definitely see it from that point of view. But I feel like us old people out here who grew up with it, it's like, you
Absolutely.
kids and your Post Malone, and it's, I couldn't tell you a song by Post Malone, I don't think. I'm gonna be honest. Not my genre of music personally.
No. I feel like I know like the one that was in the Spider-Man movie, and that's about it.
Oh, that's right. He did do a Spider-Man one. So I think that's definitely gonna be interesting. But as always, guys, that concert is like the official kickoff to Pokemon Week, I believe, for them.
I mean, I'll probably watch it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because they're also saying there's going to be some other big announcements and stuff that day. So it's going to be
absolutely.
Definitely something we're going to have to keep an eye on as those announcements come through. Again, maybe a Diamond and Pearl remake. Hopefully, maybe.
Sinnoh remakes would be incredible.
Exactly. Gosh, we can only hope. I know a lot of people are excited for that. Putting the open world maybe into some Diamond and Pearl. There's rumors of maybe like another Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu style thing. I don't think we're going to get a new gen, which honestly I'm fine with.
No, I'm okay without having a new gen. I think it's too soon after Sword and Shield, considering they're still releasing DLC and updating stuff for that.
Exactly. I'd expect them, honestly, I would expect a new expansion before they do, or another DLC before they do another gen.
Yeah, I feel like they will release a third DLC.
Yeah, I can see that. So, that is number 1 in the Pokemon news. Number 2, Levi's clothing line is officially live in Japan. Hopefully, they're saying it's going to migrate over to the US here soon. We've talked about this briefly previously, but I'm down with this. You know what I mean? And I know we've talked about it before as far as, like, major clothing brands have not done a lot with Pokemon, with the outside of, like, throw Pikachu on a t-shirt, throw it at Old Navy, and then that's your sale for it. But, like, seeing a major clothing line pick it up, what are your thoughts?
100% into it, honestly.
Okay.
I think they could do some really phenomenal stuff with it because Levi's is such an international brand, and it's such a universal brand too, because everyone knows Levi brand jeans. Right. Even us Canadians.
The Canadians who don't know anything about fashion know about Levi.
No, apparently not. But no, I honestly think they have some cool ideas. Like, I saw some of the stuff they were previewing out in Japan, and I'm like absolutely here for it. I actually want to buy some for myself.
Okay.
Because like any way I can be chic nerdy, I'm in for. Because you and I both work in professional environments that if you can put in something subtle nerdy to just kind of show it off,
I feel that.
And not have people know exactly, like, oh yeah, I'm a big nerd.
Right. I
it's
get that.
Kind of cool.
I'm definitely going to be buying something to at least wear on screen. And I will wear it in public. Will I wear it to work? I don't know if I'm ready for that sort of beat down that I would receive from my company, considering most of them do not know that I even stream or even play video games. But that's another story. But I think I am excited for the Levi launch of it. I think it's going to be pretty good. Lastly, now we can see we kind of have it here in the background, and we are going to be opening the cards here shortly. But here in America, at least, I know they have not yet launched in Canada, and we've talked briefly about your experience with Pokemon cards in Canada, and please reflect on that as well. But there's a huge scalping problem at the moment with these Pokemon cards. Now, my experience is that I went to McDonald's Saturday. There was a sign on the door that said they no longer have Pokemon card products. So I bought Happy Meals anyway because I was like, well, I still kind of want the other crap that comes in it. You know what I mean? Because they're still collectible at the end.
I mean, the box is really cute.
Exactly. And I do have another box that I have folded up nicely without grease on it and stuff like that for collection purposes. But I got the Happy Meals, and there were cards in them, even though they said they were sold out. So I think they're trying to kind of defer some scalpers on these. It's definitely been a problem. But what are your thoughts from the Canadian side?
I mean, considering we don't have them until April, I know 100% that it is going to come and people are going to scalp them here too.
Okay.
I have no doubts about that. Like, I have a friend who works at a game store, and her store cannot actually order Pokemon cards in.
Really?
They have been out of stock for a long time, and when they do get them in, they're basically already sold.
Interesting. Now, so kind of, I call it international, even though you're just our neighbors to the north. But international point of view on this. So Pokemon cards launch in Japan, and about 3 months later, they come to the United States. Do you, in an old Pokemon environment, because right now it's bananas.
Yeah.
In an old Pokemon environment, would you get them at the same time as the United States, or would you still even get them later than that, generally?
As far as I'm aware, we typically do get them at the same time.
Okay.
Or not too long afterwards.
Okay.
Typically, when I have bought cards, though, it has been for group parties that Orange and I go to, and we just buy a ton of them at a time just to build decks with.
Okay.
Or at anime conventions, because they're surprisingly a lot cheaper at Canadian anime conventions.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
But I did tell you this too, but when I went onto our Canadian Walmart website, the box sets were going for like $100+ online.
It's ridiculous.
Because, well, supply and demand.
Yeah,
supply and
I
demand is
agree,
stupid.
It is ridiculous.
100%. I would never pay that much money for a couple pieces of paper.
Right, now y'all see me open a lot of Pokemon cards on the stream. I refuse to pay anything above $3.99 for a pack of Pokemon cards. The only thing I've bought is the Champions Path Elite Trainer box that I first got. That is the only set of Pokemon cards that I've paid above and beyond. And even you've seen me open some other packs. I've got some of them for $2 a pack, and I've gotten pulls.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So
that's phenomenal because you've probably earned your money back at this point.
Exactly. So, but that's what we got for Pokemon in the news today. Again, Post Malone coming to a concert near you on February 27th. Keep an eye out for Levi. Hopefully they come to the States and Canada and go more international here soon. And also, friends, if you're scalping them Pokemon cards, they're scalping those McDonald's cards, think about the children. And think about the Criv who wants more Pokemon cards. Stop it. It's rude. But that's what we got as far as Pokemon in the news goes. Okay, so now we are going to get into the main segment of our podcast today. So Chasey and I have taken the time that we are going to build out these gyms. So we have already done this before we've gotten started. But we have each picked a couple types, and we're going to build these gyms out based off of what we think they should be. Each team will be made up of 6 Pokemon. Now, Chasey did this passively, and I followed suit. There are no legendaries on these teams either, because honestly, and I'm glad that you didn't, because I
didn't want to. I think they're a little broken.
I think it's easy to just be like an electric gym, Zapdos, Raikou,
exactly,
Regieleki,
But the average gym leader doesn't even have legendaries to begin with, so why would they in our fantasy world?
Correct, exactly. And we're also going to be talking about what gen we think it might fit in, and general areas where we would maybe put this gym, or where it would maybe fall in the, where it maybe
Pokemon
fall in
lore?
Pokemon lore, or even would it be a first gym? Would it be a final gym? You know what I mean? Now again, these Pokemon are going to be stronger. Each gym leader is going to have a 6-person team, which is not normal for how the game is normally played. But we're going to pretend that they actually build the Pokemon games a little bit more challenging. And
yeah, I was about to say, because that was one thing I was going to actually bring up.
Exactly. We could have done it now. If we were building these gyms for a first gym, yes, they would not get these fully evolved forms. But, Chasey, since you are the guest, we are actually going to let you kick things off. So,
fun. Okay.
Your first gym was a normal gym. Now, I know many of you might look at these and be like, wait a minute, what is that thing on the second row? Dual typings do count, friends.
Yes,
so
we did clarify
this.
this.
Of dual typings, but go ahead, walk me through what your team is, why you built them this way, and kind of what a strategy might be behind this team, and etc. Hit me with it.
A normal type team, they're difficult. They have one weakness, and they are not great moveset wise, which is why there are a lot of dual types.
Right.
Because your primary, you would assume that you would go into a normal type gym with a whole bunch of fighting types, which is why there is psychic type coverage in here too.
Okay.
Wigglytuff, a lot of these are also my personal favorite Pokemon too, because I'm biased.
Right, that's okay.
But Wigglytuff, I figured, would be, it has the psychic type coverage, and also has, the cute charm of the ability, which is a pretty broken thing to go into a gym with, to have that lead off with, to have all of your fighting type Pokemon to be charmed.
Yeah, I can see that.
Also, you could not have a normal type gym without a Snorlax or a Miltank, because we've seen Whitney, and we've seen her be a run killer.
We all have PTSD from Whitney. I'm convinced that all of us are even though it's not necessarily now the hardest gym, growing up, I remember wiping
it was the hardest.
Times.
Oh, and of course that Miltank has to have rollout and milk drink, just because.
Just because. Yeah.
I also learned when I was doing this that Pyroar is actually a normal fire type, which surprised the heck out of me.
So we learned this the hard way in our Pokemon Y Soul Link with Journey.
Oh no.
I didn't know that until I got kicked in the face by a fighting type and it got one shot. I agree that looking at this Pokemon, I would not be like, oh yeah, part normal.
Normal.
Like,
No. Like, why is it part normal? Like, whenever I see that Mighty Mane, I go, okay, that's just a fire type.
Exactly.
And then I was like, wait a second, that's dual type. That's coverage, at least for me to stick in here.
Yeah.
So, the moveset on it's not amazing, but...
No. No, not in the slightest.
No. But it's here just because it represents the interesting type coverages that Pokemon has.
Okay.
I personally don't like Diggersby that much, but the ground type coverage is nice.
I can see that. You know, it's definitely necessary, again, as we're building these gyms out, too. And I mean, when I look at, like, how we're doing this, I look at, like, the Kaizo playthrough that we're doing now, you know what I mean? And it's just...
Yeah.
Bananas on how strong some of these dual types can be, and it's honestly not even fair half the time.
No, because, like, you can look at some of them and be like, okay, yeah, that kind of makes sense to fit in here, and then you're like, wait a second, why is this type?
Right, exactly.
And how am I supposed to beat this? Which is kind of why I threw... like Diggersby in here, because like, okay, yeah, great, you see this come out in normal type and you're like, what the fuck?
Exactly.
And yeah, so, and I mean, I have to say also that Snorlax was encouraged by Orange, because he told me I could not have a normal type gym without Snorlax.
You absolutely cannot have a normal type gym without Snorlax.
No.
Not an option.
And I figured it would be the Ace as well, just to have that extra tank with it.
Right. Yeah.
And then Pidgeot was just the fill, because I love the Pidgey line anyway, so...
Okay. It's definitely... I was intrigued when you put Pidgeot in there, because again, a lot of us don't think, but most flying types are also normal types. And that happens a lot in the game. Which is
really does.
Which is a little disappointing, because it also screws with them being flying types and being resistant to fighting moves. Adding that kind of weakness stops them from being resistant to a lot, which creates a problem. Flying is always good against fighting, no questions asked.
Yeah.
But when you add the normal type in, it just makes it disappointing.
It does.
Where do you see this gym as far as, like, is it an early gym? Is it a late gym? It is normal typing, so...
Yeah. I mean, I kind of see it at the same point as Norman in Gen 3. Because I think he's, like, the 5th gym badge in there, because, like...
Yeah, he's number 5, yeah.
Yeah. So, because I feel like you wouldn't have, like, the Wigglytuff or the Pidgeot as early generation stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, and you wouldn't want to throw a Snorlax or a Miltank at someone with, like, level 13 Pokemon, too.
Yeah, I get that. I could definitely see it as a 5th, because none of these evolutions, I feel like, are completely out of hand. Pidgeot maybe being the only exception for that level, where that level sits. I don't see any of these being like, oh my gosh, you couldn't have them, because Norman is around the late 20s to early 30s, I believe, level-wise.
Yeah, and I think Pidgeot comes in around like level end of 20s, early 30s.
I think it's on par with the starters, but I think it's in that time frame. Yeah, I agree.
So I feel like a 4th or a 5th gym wouldn't be the worst setup for this.
Okay.
So
I gotcha. Any other thoughts on where you would? So you think about 5th gym level? Is there anywhere, any gen or a game that you think this gym would fit perfectly?
I mean, I have a lot of Gen 1 and 2 on here, and that's the thing. Like, you could try to put it in one of, like, the later remake games that has more access to generations, because I believe I'm not familiar with what gen. If it's X and Y, it's later gen for both of those two.
Yeah, exactly. So for Pyro and Diggersby are later in the game. I think they're Gen 6.
I think they're both Gen 6. I'm not super familiar with all 800 Pokemon and where they fit, but...
Right, no, absolutely. So I think this team would be a good Gen 6 one, just from what I've seen on it. And I think it could be intriguing with one of the remakes. Because like we saw, and I think they should do more of this, where in a remake, I'm even thinking when we had to go through in Gold and Silver, where we had to play back through Kanto, and Koga wasn't there anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think you completely gut the games, but I think that you can switch out some gym leaders and still make it work.
I mean, that's what they did in Emerald, too, when Wallace went on to take the role of the Pokemon Championship, and then I believe Bond, who took over the Pseudopolis gym. Like, you could 100% change the lore like that.
I agree. Very good. So that is our normal typing breakdown here. Any last thoughts, Chasey? Are we good?
I think we're good.
Beautiful. Okay, so we're going to get into mine. So I picked Poison because poison is my favorite typing. Is it very weak at times? Absolutely. But I still love it. So, again, you can see we got Toxicroak in there. We got Toxtricity. We actually have a Alolan Muck. We have Drapion, Crobat, and Tentacruel. So, again, you can see basically everything is a dual type. Which...
Yes.
It's going to be how it's going to be.
I mean, most of mine are dual types. Exactly. You can't say anything.
I put Toxicroak in here because Toxicroak is a problem whenever I have fought against him. He can be a strong Pokemon. He often has that dry skin ability, which you don't expect, which can then be absorbed for water moves, that sort of thing. Overall, solid Pokemon. Toxtricity I have not used a lot of, but I'm intrigued by putting an electric.
Oh, he is so good.
Is he? Okay.
Yes.
He looks like he'd be a solid Pokemon. You know what I mean? And electric types are definitely, can be hard to come by at times. So I think being able to put him in there is going to go ahead and swap some things up. Alolan Muck is we needed a wall. Muck is definitely that Pokemon if you need a wall in there, along with
100%.
Tentacruel. I think Orange remembers how much difficulty he had with it in a lot of our showdown fights. Drapion is definitely kind of our glass cannon. He high crit rate, again, being a dark poison type, gets rid of that psychic weakness. Overall, solid Pokemon. Crobat hits our speed category where we need it. I think it's like the 11th fastest Pokemon in the game currently.
Yeah, that's insane.
It's not strong, it's not tanky, but you can
it's
still
fast.
Exactly, you can still generally get a couple shots off. And Tentacruel.
I mean,
What's
sorry.
up?
Does Crobat have access to Tailwind?
Yes, Crobat does have access to Tailwind. So that's, again, that could be another addition there to help all of these Pokemon off, and maybe even with a lead, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Lead off with him, go ahead and throw a Crobat out, maybe swap into Tentacruel, get some poison spikes out, just so you can get the Toxic on, and then just roll. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Go with Drapion for crits as you need. This is just a dirty fighting team overall, and somebody in the chat just mentioned it as well. It's just, I think this team would be a huge problem because I don't think there's
absolutely
anything good you can do to get rid of them. You have the ground weakness, easy. Swap into Crobat. Now, if that ground Pokemon has rock moves, might be a problem. But if it's a ground Pokemon or you got Tentacruel that you can swap into, take it out with some with the water side of things. I don't think there is a good option to take this team out.
No, you'd have to either overlevel or get lucky with crits.
Exactly.
Really.
Now, I think because of that, in a game, this gym is going to have to sit on the back end of it. I could see this as
100%.
an 8 gym leader. I could
100%.
see this as an Elite Four member. You know what I mean? It's just...
Actually, I would see this sooner as Elite Four than I would as a gym.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. Again, I think they're super strong. I think they got a lot going for them. I love this makeup. As far as what gen we would put this in, I know it has Toxtricity, so the first thing's going to be like Gen 8. I disagree with that.
I have to as well.
I see this as a Gen 7, especially we're playing through Gen 7 right now for the first time. And although they don't have gyms, I could see this as a Gen 7. Do they have Elite Four in Gen 7? I think they do. I haven't played through it yet.
I haven't actually finished the original Sun Moon yet,
Right.
and I've had it for 4 years.
Right, exactly. So I think it could be there, but yes, and again, the chat mentioned it. This looks like a remade Koga team, which I think even if you can take it back that far, why not? Heart Gold, Soul Silver, throw it as a Koga Elite Four fight.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
But as far as my typing breakdown, this is where I think a solid focus could be for this poison type. I love poison types. I think they're underrated. I think you look at this team right here, this could do damage to any sort of type of teams. So.
Oh, exactly. I would be terrified to take this on in a Nuzlocke.
Especially in a Nuzlocke? Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is, where do you even start? You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
And, like, if you are that type of crazy person who throws in, like, level caps or can't use items, like, this is going to be what destroys your team.
100%. Absolutely no questions asked. This is my Gestus fight in Black 2, is what we're hearing. Okay. So, your second type was flying. Now,
Which is actually my all-time favorite type.
Really? Okay, and I'm glad you put a certain Pokemon in here. Shout out to Altaria.
Yes, always Altaria.
Walk me through your thoughts.
Well, as most people know, most flying types are dual types.
Yep.
Because whatever reason, there is not many pure flyings.
Yep. Correct.
So, surprisingly, they have so many different types and different strategies you could use with them, and most of them are pretty speedy boys.
Right, absolutely.
So, you can throw in some decent type coverage in here, and it can be pretty scary.
That's the thing, your type coverage just looking at this team is incredible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's sort of, Togekiss, as we see, is a tank. You know what I mean? And that's, I'm assuming that's your approach, but with it being, I think it's a very, very flying.
Yeah, very flying.
If they have a poison type, throw in Sigilyph. If they have a steel type, throw in Talonflame.
Exactly.
Exactly. This team would be super scary.
Yeah, and I mean, even if we're in the Mega generation, you could toss in Mega Altaria and have the extra threat of, oh god, big fluffy bird just grew 3 times bigger.
Yeah, I get that.
Go ahead. Where do I see this being? Is that what you're gonna ask?
Yeah, I was gonna say, where do you see this being? What type of gym leader? And then I'll give my thoughts on that.
Okay. Admittedly, I had the headcanon as we're going into headcanons, Criv.
Okay.
That surprisingly, the gym leader for this would be almost like a younger child that was in a wheelchair.
Okay.
I don't know why, but I was thinking about that last night before I went to bed, and I was like, you know what, that could work, because, like, all of these super powerful flying type Pokemon to kind of guard this kid's dreams of being able to, like, be in the sky or something.
Okay, that's interesting.
So it's completely, like, left field, but...
So if it's a kid, then where do you think it would fall as a gym leader himself?
See, here's the thing. With most of these Pokemon, there are, like, pre-evolutions you could stick in earlier game.
Agreed.
So it is very versatile into where you could place it. Honestly, with Corviknight, you do kind of default to Gen 8, but I feel like I wouldn't want to put it in, like, Gen 3 because Fortree City and I believe it's Skyla who is the trainer there. I don't want to overshadow her.
Okay. Could it be a replacement for her, though? Or do you think she's necessary?
I think her team is necessary. It is.
Okay.
I have had run kills from her.
What about Winona?
I don't want to say could replace Winona because I know people love her. But
Replace her.
Yeah. I feel like I could go there. I feel like it could be in addition to Gen 7 or Gen 8 as well. I feel like it would probably fit later game though as opposed to earlier game just because the flying dual types, and especially with the fairy typing too, wouldn't be as prevalent in the earlier games.
Yeah. Now, so what I'm seeing for this, I'm definitely seeing, I think, more of a Winona replacement.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued by what you said is, like, doing even earlier forms on this. I think you could push this to a early gym leader with maybe a Corvisquire instead of Corviknight.
Yep.
It's Togetic is the second one?
A Togetic, you'd have to do a Togetic.
And a Gligar instead of a Gliscor. Even a Fletchinder instead of a Talonflame.
Yeah.
I think it would be a solid early flying gym. That's difficult but not impossible. So you lose the Dragon type with Altaria, which thank God, because if it was a Dragon type, you can't put it early game. But I think it could be a little earlier. I think this one's very intriguing, and I kind of like how you built this out.
Yeah, because I feel like the Sigilyph would probably would have to be your ace because it's the only Pokemon that doesn't evolve in this set. So I feel like it would have to be like a third or a fourth gym, maybe. Okay. Just because, like, probably a third gym, because then at least you can have, like, the Togekiss in, because if Togepi loses the flying type.
Exactly. No, yeah, it would have to be a Togekiss. I think being able to run into this with, like, a water Pokemon would make it so the gym's not impossible. There would still be some strategy necessary, but I don't think it becomes impossible with it. So I think this is a solid take. Okay.
I agree.
Any parting comments?
No, I think we're good. I think you've covered it. I was definitely headcaning it as an earlier gym, and I was thinking about that too. I was like, you know what, this one wouldn't have to be final evolutions for it all.
I think that's awesome, and I think it's an awesome take that I really didn't take myself. You know what I mean? So I thank you for that. So I took Ground as my second one, and I kind of agree as far as being able to potentially make this an earlier gym as well. Now that we're talking in that as necessary, as far as, like, taking them down evolution and still make it doable, I think
absolutely this team absolutely could do that.
Absolutely. Now I think in full form evolution, this team is scary. You know what I mean? I think Flygon, again, being the dragon type, if you have an ice type, he's screwed. But, like, if you don't have that ice type, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Crocodile causes a lot of problems. Swampert is probably one of the strongest starter Pokemon out there.
Oh, 100%.
A grass type ruins him, but you have enough form around this that you can kind of take this on. Again, Mamoswine gives you kind of that ulterior, gives you an ice type with that. Steelix, I feel like, is an underrated Pokemon overall, just how tanky and bulky this thing is. This is not going to be a gym, I think, that you can run in and one-shot everything and run out.
No, you have run killers here, dude.
Good. That's the goal. You know what? I think I'm taking my rage out of all of the times I've had my run killed, and I'm putting it on everybody else. So, I mean, you have a Golurk, and somebody brought up, Golurk can fly. I just found that out, like, in my last run. He can learn fly, which is baffling.
What?
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't. How does he fly? Is it like jet-powered boots or something?
Probably. That's got to be my thought. Maybe the ghost type makes him fly? I'm not positive. As far as where in the game this sits, if you leave them where they're at, I view this as an 8th gym leader.
I view this also as like a 7th or 8th gym leader.
If you take them down the evolutions, I think you could pull them all the way to first form evolutions, have Onix be the ace, and I think you can make this a solid first gym.
I feel like you absolutely could. I think you'd have to go to Marsh Stomp though instead of Mudkip.
You think? Oh, because ground type, yeah, it's only water type at that point. Well,
so
2 okay Pokemon, you know what I mean? But still, a grass type could do some damage to this team.
Yeah, and I mean, that would have to be what you'd go in with, is a grass type and then somehow find the extra coverage in the rest of your party to go in with it.
Right. Okay. So I think it could go there. I think this could be a very good, this kind of screams more earlier gens to me. Maybe a replace
I agree.
for a Roxanne or a Brock or something like that. I think it would be a good replacement team for what they have.
Honestly, I feel like a good replacement for Roxanne.
Yeah.
I feel like the Rustboro gym is usually not that big of a threat, especially given the starter choices for it. And I feel like this could up the ante for sure.
I 100% agree with that, because again, if you start with, in that case, Mudkip or Trico, you're fine.
Roxanne is easy, yeah. You have a little bit more struggle if you pick Torchic. So.
But even if you don't, you can get a Shroomish from the forest that is still
right outside of town. Yeah, exactly.
So it's not that bad.
And I think there is Marrows actually too, right before Rustboro too.
Oh, I think you're right. So yeah, you can build a team that I think could fight this team in an okay manner.
Yeah.
And I still think it could pack a good punch. I still think it could be effective for what they're trying to do with it.
Absolutely.
So, any thoughts on this?
I do like it a lot, actually. I feel like it would be a challenging run, especially, but if you do it earlier too, it could still remain that same amount of challenge. As is, though, definitely would have to be a lot like a later gym for sure.
I gotcha. Very good.
So.
Your next typing was water. Now, water is one of the stronger types when you think about it. They don't have a lot of stuff that's super effective against it. You add in a lot of these dual types, they become major problems. Walk me through what you did here.
All right. I actually did have to get a lot of help from Orange on the water team because I was going like, I have too many options.
Right. Okay.
I also didn't want to peg it all with a bunch of starters.
Makes sense.
Because you could originally I had Blastoise in here, I had Swampert in here going like, okay, what do I want to do with these guys?
Right. I get that.
But then I was like, you know what? Having some tank and having some type coverage as opposed to pure water types would be probably a little scarier.
Yeah.
Because Dracovish, his base defense is absolutely insane.
Just physical defense? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
For what he is.
Okay.
It's insane how tanky that boy is, and he looks so derpy. So
I have not used the fossil Pokemon personally a lot, so I know some of them are very strong, and I know in competitive there are a couple that I believe are used quite a bit. Maybe
Dracovish is a competitive for sure.
Okay, well there you go. Yeah, so I clearly don't know that much on those.
I pictured that Ludicolo would lead.
I could see that.
He sets up Rain Dance.
Oh no.
Because every single Pokemon on this team likes rain.
That would be a nightmare.
Yep. Because a couple of them have Swiss Swim, and Ludicolo himself has Rain Dance. But I also set him up with Fire Punch when I was making the team, for coverage sake.
Okay, interesting. I didn't know he could learn Fire Punch. That's awesome.
He can learn all of the elemental punches, surprisingly.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
So I also do love Ludicolo though, especially from Coliseum, and have it just literally sitting with my TV on, listening to the Mirror B theme, watching them dance as a kid.
Okay, I get that. That's a throwback there. I get that.
So, I can imagine that Primarina would be the ace.
Really? Interesting.
I mean, the Popplio line, I think it's a lot of unnecessary hate. Especially to have a fairy type as well, because I believe it was just introduced as more of a regular typing in Gen 7, like more regular.
It introduced in Gen 6, I believe.
Yeah.
But as
and
far
then
as becoming more prominence.
Yeah, and then sticking your starter with a fairy type, it's pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, the only I'm assuming a lot of his hate comes from Rowlet. You know what I mean? People love the Rowlet line. Then the Litten line is, I guess, cuter.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. I mean, Orange and Ice Christmas tree for the past 2 years has been a Popplio themed tree, so I can't say anything.
Well, I'm checking out that Popplio over your left shoulder as well, so I definitely understand that one. Okay.
Gastrodon is in my top 12 Pokemon ever.
Really?
I actually carried one through my entire run in Sword and Shield.
Okay.
And
now, my thought on Gastrodon is that he's a discount Swampert.
I agree, which is why he's in here instead of Swampert.
Makes
because
sense.
I didn't want to have two starters.
Okay, fair. Okay.
But the ground type coverage is good, and his defense is still pretty tanky.
Yeah, no, he's very tanky. I get that. Yeah.
So.
Okay.
So Jellicent I also think is kind of cool with the ghost typing on there, because it kind of definitely throws people for a loop.
Jellicent can be a scary Pokemon. Having used it and having fought against it, it's pretty tanky. I think it's special defense tanky. I could be wrong there.
It is special defense tanky.
But even just, I don't know. It can be scary. Its learn set is actually really good. Its
it has trick room.
Insane.
It has trick room too.
Right, exactly.
Because when I was setting it up in Showdown, actually, I went through and tried to figure out moves and figure out strategies for them all. And setting it up with Trick Room with a super low speed made it deadly.
Yeah, and especially with that, if that Rain Dance is active. Now, Trick Room unfortunately ruins, I think, the rest of your team, which would just be a concern.
That's kind of your last. But here's the thing, though, too, is that Gastrodon and Walrein are also slow.
That's true. Okay, I get that.
So if you leave with Ludicolo and then your fast people don't get through, you still have them being able to speed up with Swiss Swim.
Okay.
And then if you're Trick Room, if you're still slower than whatever the hell you're being tossed at, you can still at least outspeed.
I agree. That's actually a good point. I think this would be a scary gym. The only one I'm not necessarily sold on is Walrein. So
that's fair. I wanted a wall. He was really just a tank in the ice type coverage. If someone brought in a grass type, wouldn't be the worst.
Yes, I think that's true. I personal experience, whenever I've used one or whenever I've fought one, it hasn't been a problem. You know what I mean? Either it just gets murked or vice versa. You just
exactly.
So
it usually is destroyed, which is why I think it would probably be sent out in the middle.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Just sort of throw them off a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Here's this tanky boy who has thick fat and is literally just going to throw up a wall, and if he takes something of yours out before everything else can come out.
That's true.
So.
Okay. I see that. Okay, where do you see this team sitting?
Honestly, I think it's gonna have to be probably at least 6th or 7th gym because of how many evolutions we have here.
You know what I'd like to see? I would like to see this replace an ice gym.
I feel like that would be interesting to replace Pseudopolis.
Right. Now, I know your next typing is ice.
Yes.
But in my experience, I have never had an issue with an ice gym.
Nor have I.
Generally pretty easy to just walk through. They always throw that wall rain in there as like, we have a water type. It's like, that's not really concerned.
No, that's not going to help you.
Exactly.
That's just going to, it'll slow you down for 30 seconds.
Right, exactly. So I think I would like to see, this scares me a lot more than ice gyms or even some dragon gyms at times, you know what I mean? So
I agree.
Okay. Very good, very good. Any other thoughts?
I think we're good.
Beautiful. So, my next type, I took fire. Now, I took some of the easier types because I'm
Yes,
Criv,
you did.
and that's what I do.
You are Criv.
I make the rules here.
This still scares the crap out of me.
This is an interesting team. Now, this is not how I would normally build one of my teams. This team is just firepower after firepower, no pun intended. You know what I mean? It's consistent, quick Pokemon, heavy hitting. This is not a team that is going to put you in a battle that takes 50 moves to get through.
No, because I mean, you can walk in with a good, strong water type with Hydro Cannon or Surf and take out
a majority of them. Now,
yeah.
Yes and no.
I mean, yes and no.
If you come in with an only water team, yes.
Oh, exactly. You'd get screwed.
We are screwed here. But if you come in with one or two, I think this team can handle it. And then I think they're going to be a major problem for whatever you have left. The speed is generally very quick. Now I'm looking at Arcanine, I'm looking at Salazzle, I'm looking at Houndoom. Magmortar is a little tanky and has some really good cover. He can learn Thunder Punch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he can do work with it. Throw a Drought out there and water types become a little bit less effective.
Absolutely.
Ground and Rock, again, might be a little concerning, but I don't think the end of the world here.
I think if you can pull in like a Magnitude Pokemon, you could actually, if you got lucky with your Magnitude pulls, you could take it pretty easy.
Right. But that's my thing. We have a lot of glass cannons here. But I think the strength between like Salazzle and Chandelure can be very, very good. You got a good bit of speed with Arcanine and Houndoom with some good type coverage between the two of them, as well as Magmortar being a little bit tankier and being able to learn the large moveset that he has.
Exactly. I feel like your ace would either have to be Magmortar, or even if you wanted to get into like the Gigantamax Scorch.
Yeah.
Because if you put this in Gen 8 with the Gigantamax, I feel like that could be pretty deadly, and you could replace Kabu as well for.
And nobody loves Kabu. I think this is where I think that's where I would definitely thinking wise put him. I think it would definitely be a Gen 8 gym. I think it does a good job of reflecting a lot of mons through a lot of the other gens.
I agree.
And I think it's something that could just get out of hand quickly if you're not careful. You know what I mean? This is the type of thing that one or two crits from these guys, and you're screwed. You know
exactly.
What I mean? It's, yes, they're not going to be able to live as long, but they have the attack and special attack stats that
they can take things down. Yeah.
Run through you unexpectedly.
Yeah, and I feel like you'd have to get lucky with like a Magnitude or Surf. I mean, I could even see this being like a double gym too, because if you toss out two of these strong, fast fire types at a time, like that could be deadly on its own too. If you go like, holy crap, one of them has like Flame Spin and has trapped both of my water types.
Yeah, and while either Arcanine takes him out with Wild Charge or Thunder Punch for Magmortar, or there's a lot of options in there.
Absolutely. I think a double gym would almost be scarier for this.
I think I agree with that. I think the speed, again, it could just put somebody in a really bad spot really quickly is kind of my approach with this. Again, I think it's easy to build out a gym that's like, they're all just brick walls and they're just going to whittle you down with Toxic, you know what I mean? But I like to see gyms that are like, okay,
this is Fast and Furious.
I have to figure out how I can beat them quickly. Because I oftentimes feel like in a Nuzlocke, which is a lot of what I do, and I know you're getting into it and etc., is that it's good to have some walls on your team, but you gotta at times be like, I gotta get through this, or this creates a problem.
Exactly, because
God forbid somebody sets up.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the Pokemon gyms actually don't have much for setup.
Correct.
Because like the AI reads badly or something, and like the team has potential.
Right.
But because you can walk into any one of the Elite Fours and get lucky with them, like, spamming a move.
Bad AI, yeah. Amnesia
Yeah.
on the slow bro that we all remember. Yeah, for no reason. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, if there was another thing I was going to bring up at the end, too, is that, like, imagine if gym leaders, like, they had the AI of a human player.
Yeah.
Because that could be absolutely terrifying. Because if I trusted this team with an AI, I feel like that could absolutely leave you an open opportunity to destroy.
Right, and I think a lot of these teams that we're looking at as far as typings and usability and smarter AI, I look a lot towards a lot of these ROM hacks that are kind of bringing that forward. Again,
Oh,
I know
absolutely.
You've seen a little bit of Kaizo that I've been doing, and even just Kaizo on your own experience is just... It's insane because it'll be like they know you're about to swap out, and it's just like what? Like
Exactly, and then that's the thing, that you have to play smarter.
right. How do you big brain the big brain?
Yeah, you can't just mash buttons to get through and go, okay, this is gonna hit 100% because he's gonna heal this turn. I get a free heal. Like, you actually have to think, like, okay, like, what do I have to do
Exactly.
in order to outsmart something that's actually going to be as smart as me?
Right. Absolutely. I agree. I think this would be spooky. I think it's different from the other teams, and the other teams would definitely be able to sustain a little bit more. So.
Absolutely.
But I think that's good. Like we said, I think that's good packing these. If we were to like make a game out of just these gyms that we're creating now,
I would be scared.
I'd be terrified. I think it'd be
Like-
fun, but
Oh, it would be a challenge because you'd have to figure out a team that could either take everything or have enough encounters before every single one of these gyms
right.
to get something.
Right. Exactly. Okay, so we're actually getting into our final gym per person. I think you have ice left, and I think I took fairy as my last one, just because
Yes.
it's a newer one. I don't know.
I love fairy types, but I mean, I think that's because I'm a girl gamer.
That could be it. I think I am learning to love fairy types now that I've actually played with them. Gen 8 was my first exposure to them. But before we do, let's get to your ice type gym. Now, I 100% before this just threw ice typing under the bus because I don't
Yes.
love it personally.
I know. Here's the thing. I randomly generated every single team I did.
Okay.
I didn't go in and pick cherry picked my favorites.
Yeah, who would do
'Cause I
something
wanted
like
to make-
that? That's wrong.
Yeah, right, Kriv? I got lucky when I got flying type because it is my favorite to build, but there are some actually kind of broken strats with this team.
Okay, hit me with it.
Abomasnow would lead with hail.
Okay.
Every other single Pokemon in here gets evasiveness or speed boosts from hail and aren't affected by it.
Okay.
Because then
I see that.
it's a continuous chip on damage, which would also throw you, okay, I have to speed up a little bit and tank these things out. But it also gives the chance for every other move to potentially miss, because I think it's 1.5 times evasiveness
That
in
makes
hail.
sense. Yeah, no, a lot of them can be, and you get instant blizzards, and I'm assuming you would lead with, would Abomasnow have snow warning, or would he have the move hail? Because snow warning...
He would
would
have
be
snow
issue.
warning.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he'd have snow
Free
warning.
move, essentially.
Yeah.
I can see that. Break me down your thoughts on some of the specific Pokemon, because I have some thoughts to it, and I do like your
Yeah.
choices.
Thank you. I couldn't walk in without a Glaceon.
Okay.
The evolutions are some of my favorite Pokemon, and
Okay.
I usually I carry them through games too if I have them.
Okay.
So, Glaceon is probably, I hate to say it, kind of probably the weakest typing on this one because it is just pure ice and is kind of a glass cannon in that sense.
Yeah.
But I love it, and
Okay.
it does have a Aurora Veil as
Right.
well, access to it as well, which is helpful.
Okay. I get that.
Frostlass is super duper speedy.
Yeah.
And I would almost consider her being the ace
Really?
because
Okay.
you can break some strategies with the ghost typing too.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. No questions asked.
And
So
every
that
time I've
drops
seen
that drops fighting weakness, right?
yes, it does.
Okay.
And it really physical stuff's not really super great.
Right.
So again, the real weakness here is definitely going to be like you can walk in here and probably destroy most of this team fairly easily. But there are a couple things, like the Aurorus, I don't know how to pronounce that properly.
Aurorus. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, is a rock type as well.
Yes.
So that's gonna be like the scary hitch in the plan, 'cause you're gonna go, oh my god, all of these pure ice types, woohoo, and then this thing comes out and you're like, I can't burn it.
Exactly, and I think that's where I think a lot of this. I mean, you look at Jinx, who surprisingly is a super fast Pokemon.
Yeah, and actually has a good type coverage too, because the psychic type.
Is super fast.
Yeah.
I agree with this one. I think Fire could come in, but I don't think it'd be the end of the world. Would a Fire Pokemon ruin Abomasnow? Yeah, Abomasnow's screwed if they lead with a Fire Pokemon.
But then the thing is, though, if you're leading with that Abomasnow, you have the Hail set up for everything else.
Correct, exactly. So it essentially is just there to serve one purpose. Maybe get an extra move off on a Fire Pokemon. You know what I mean? Because a Blizzard and Hail is still gonna hurt.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. So you would lead in with it, basically sacrifice it.
Makes sense.
And then everything else gets evasiveness, and I believe that the Baratic gets 2 times speed.
Okay.
So with the actual punch from the Baratic, that could probably be a scary Pokemon if it's 2 times faster than it should be.
No, and that makes sense, because Baratic is a pretty physical attacker.
It is, 100%.
And then I think you can also pair that, though, and with Aurorus, I think the ability to refrigerate on that one probably might be its best. Because what I found is even using Return on Aurorus, it puts it at like 130 power. Like, it's insane for a physical move. It is.
Exactly. And I mean, that would, walking into that going, my fire types won't work. And this thing can deal that much damage in one hit.
Yeah, it's a problem.
It's a problem. And that would 100% be a problem. I was thinking about putting Lapras in here somewhere, and maybe instead of the Jinx, but I didn't want water typing in here also, because like it could take out a fire type 100%, but a few of these Pokemon do have access to water type moves.
Right. Okay.
Because I know Glaceon does have access to like Aqua Jet and a couple other water moves that could take out the fire types as well.
That's where I think Glaceon, I don't think Glaceon is the weak link here. I think Baratic and Abomasnow are the weak link here. I think your 4 on the right-hand side there, I think those are what's going to carry you, because Glaceon has the speed. You can learn, you can pick up that water move. I don't know. I'm intrigued by this team. Again, we don't usually get gyms that are complete builds. You know what I mean? Like, we get gyms that are like half done. So it's like, well, you're going somewhere with it, but you didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, and that's the thing, that you don't walk into a gym going, okay, here's literally your fodder Pokemon that's just going to use Hail.
Exactly.
And has Snow Warding to make it last longer.
Right. Normally he's like an end Pokemon. He's one of the last Pokemon they'll generally send.
Exactly.
So the setup's wasted at that point.
Yeah. So lead in with him, get that chip damage going, and see if you can freeze.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So.
Okay. I think it'd be an interesting gym. I think something like this would make ice gyms more exciting.
I agree, because I mean, most of the ones in the game already, you can just kind of tiptoe around and get through pretty well unscathed.
Right.
Because I remember in Sword and Shield, I was a little bit, because I played Shield, I was a little bit terrified for Melody, because I'm like, okay, like, I can walk in here, but like, what happens if I don't happen to have enough, like defrost or whatever? Like, what happens if she freezes me and I can't suddenly take it out?
Okay.
So I was like, okay, you know what, here's what we can do. And then I ended up just walking, like, blasting it right through, and I was like, oh yeah, this is no threat whatsoever.
Yeah, and that's where, I mean, I think this team, ice type as a whole, generally has to sit later in the game. As far as where this gym would sit, I could see this definitely kind of back a little bit, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Okay. Any other thoughts?
I think we're good on this one too.
Very good. Okay, we're getting into our last proposal. My camera just went real black.
Yeah, I was about to say, your camera just went completely unfocused. I think mine is pretty unfocused too, though.
Come back. Okay, whatever. We're going to deal with what we got. So, I took Fairy as the last gym. Fairy...
I was excited when I saw this.
...is interesting. Not a lot of weaknesses, you know what I mean? A good number of resistances. I think... So, here's the deal. Mawile, the Steel type, helping with other Steel type Pokemon and Poison types, it is a very strong Fairy type Pokemon when you think about
absolutely. I feel like Malile's entirely underrated.
Exactly. I agree. I think it can be strong. Now, you need the right move. I think Intimidate is the option here with Mawile over Hyper Cutter, which I know is one of its other abilities. My camera is going absolutely bananas right now.
Yep, it is.
We'll deal with it. Whatever. Azumarill has huge power.
Absolutely.
I used a huge power Azumarill, and many of you saw it in my Nuzlocke or Soul Link because Journey killed all our other Pokemon. I was left with literally one Azumarill for the champion, and he carried. I didn't need any other Pokemon. A huge power Azumarill, down 4 levels, still was able to carry us through that final.
Yeah, they are surprisingly tanks, and they actually have access to a decent moveset.
It's insane. Now, Whimsicott, Prankster is just dirty. Leech Seed, Stun Spore, everything. Now, personally, I would like to see, and you brought this up for the Fire type, but my thought with this is, I would like to see this Fairy type gym as a dual.
A double gym,
Because I think being able to flip in Whimsicott, throw Leech Seeds out, get Stun Spores, Sleeps, Powders, all that other stuff through there, I don't even need to give Whimsicott an attacking move. I'm going to be honest, I don't care.
No, it is 100% a support mon.
Right.
Also with Protect on there too with the Sunspores, and just guard yourself while it's out there.
Exactly.
And then take your free switch out.
Absolutely. I think Sylveon, I don't think you can have a Fairy gym without Sylveon.
100% no.
I know Evolutions can be overused, but when you think Fairy-type Pokemon, this is always the first Pokemon that comes to mind for me. You know what I mean? When somebody's like, we need a Fairy-type. It's like, guess I'm getting Sylveon.
Sylveon.
Yeah, exactly. The other ones all are so heavy dual types that you don't often think about it much.
No, and I mean, Sylveon is actually in my top 6 favorite Pokemon too, so...
It's solid, yeah. So
it is.
With Azumarill switching to that Water Fairy, I think overall well. Grimmsnarl, I don't know a lot about this Pokemon, but I have seen the competitive scene where he is very widely used. I think it's very dark.
Very dark.
Which just makes it interesting.
It's an interesting type for sure. Like,
I believe it's a super strong physical attacker, if I remember correctly. It's pretty tanky.
But that leaves you open with the Fairy type moves, though, which are, I think, traditionally special based.
They are. They are oftentimes, except for Play Rough. You do have Play Rough in there, which is a monster of a move. I think it's a 90 base power, 100 accuracy. I think
which
you can carry it.
Which you would have to carry for sure with that one, because I feel like if you gave it like Moonblast or Dazzling Gleam, it's not going to do as well because those are special based moves.
No, but also, so Grimmsnarl also can have the Prankster ability with Whimsicott, so using it can help with other setup moves and stuff like that. You don't have fair. It's one of those things where if you send out a Whimsicott and a Grimmsnarl to start, you have to focus one down.
Exactly, and I mean, honestly, I'd probably take the Grimmsnarl down first.
Exactly. But the other one will ruin you while you do it.
Exactly. And then when you go in for your second run, your second attempt again, you're like, okay, what the hell do I actually do here?
Exactly, absolutely. And I put in Galarian Rapidash because I love the Psychic
I love the
Fairy
design.
type. I love the design of it. It's such a pretty pony.
It is. It is such a pretty pony.
I think it just adds to the type coverage that you can put in here. It's going to be good to help take out the poison type Pokemon that often ruin this team. The only thing we are very exposed to are steel types at this point. But the good news is there's not a lot of steel types.
No, there isn't.
And there's not a lot of steel type moves. So I think we are okay against it. And even with that, there are other Pokemon on this team that can at least delay it and handle it.
Well, I mean, you also have the Stomp Cheese, too, from Rapidash.
That's true. You got the speed, you can put Stomp on. Everything's already going to be paralyzed anyway from Stun Spore. But I think it's going to be a good option. Again, I don't think this even has to be an end tier team, though.
No, I feel like you could probably stick this in the middle.
Fifth or sixth gym, I think it could be workable.
I think it could be too, because like you don't have anything like super overpowered or super like it is possible to get through. Because I mean, even though you have one fairly obvious weakness, they are hard to come by, as you said.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And I feel like you could power through it with a few lucky crits, and try to play towards more of like the overpowered side of things versus the type thing.
Right. And I would have liked to see them I would put this in Gen 6 in that middle, replace the Fairy Gym that's there. Yeah. When I did the playthrough, and it was my first time playing Pokemon Y, that gym was not a challenge. It was literally just a beat through it and we're done. Like,
Yeah, see, I have actually not played X and Y yet all the way through.
It was fine. You know, I mean, I can't trash it. It was a game. It was fine. Is it my favorite?
Yeah.
No, but it wasn't
No.
awful.
That's fair.
I think it would have a good seat there. I think you put this gym in the middle, and I think overall it can be a solid team. I don't think it's the worst team in the world, but I don't think it's necessarily going to be so hard that you're sitting there going, oh my gosh, how do I do this? But
I don't think it's going to be a run killer, but I feel like it's going to be a pain in your butt enough to...
Especially if you run it as a double battle. If you run it as a single battle, not that bad. You know what I mean? Probably able to get through just because of the switches, but I think if you can start out with Whimsicott and Grimmsnarl, get all the setup you need...
Yep,
I think it's done, you know what I mean? But I think at the end of the day, I think Sylveon is still actually the ace on this team. And my thought is because you're not going to be able to go into this gym with 6 Steel-type or Poison-type Pokemon. And I think the rest of the Pokemon can clear out those problems, and Sylveon will just run train on whatever is left.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, I mean, she does also have access to Moonblast and Wish and everything else that you need just to destroy.
Wish, Protect, Moonblast, Cheese? I'm down for
Yep, exactly.
But, so that is actually our final gym. I think with all 8, I think we could honestly, realistically make a game out of these. Pull some of these from their top evolutions down to single form evolutions, and I think we could make a playable...
I feel like we should make a play. We should actually make these in Showdown and actually versus each other.
That'd be interesting. I'd be down with that. That could be some fun.
Yeah.
Now, as many of you might or may not know, Chasey is actually joining us tomorrow for our Pokemon Showdown Challenge. We are doing a best of 5 with her. But this ends the content part of our podcast. Now, we still have some Pokemon cards that we're going to open. But first off, any closing comments from you, thoughts on the gyms, thoughts on the news, any other plugs you would like to do with yourself as I flash some Pokemon cards in front of the screen for codes. Go ahead.
I mean, your friends want me to destroy you, so...
Well, what else is new? They love
your
to see
camera.
you lose.
Your camera is so out of focus.
Oh.
I can't even read that text.
Somebody can pause it and zoom in. Not my problem. But yeah, no, Chasey, I appreciate you coming through. Again, kind of last minute notice, so I appreciate that.
Hey, not a problem.
But I remember
I'm
you had
glad
told
I could
me
actually
that.
be here.
Exactly. So what are you playing on your channel currently?
I am currently doing 2 run-throughs of Pokemon Heart Gold, Soul Silver, surprisingly.
Okay.
I don't know why they're both that, but I have an absolute broken randomizer right now for Soul Silver.
Okay.
I have never actually randomized a Pokemon game ever, and I broke it.
Nice. Good to hear.
And I have no idea what I'm doing, because every single Pokemon has different types.
Okay.
You are a Dark-type Wigglytuff. I think you remember.
That's right. I remember that. Yes, I am.
And you are my starter.
There you go.
I also have a Starly that knows Judgment from Arceus.
Makes sense.
So, like, everything is completely randomized. And then I am also currently doing a Soul Lock with Orange.
Okay, very nice. Has he murdered any of your Pokemon yet to the fact that you are now angry at him?
No, not yet. We
Wow,
have
good
both
job,
missed
Orange.
one. We have both missed one encounter, and that's it.
Wow. Well, Orange, you're better than me. No question about that.
Oh, we haven't gotten that far yet. We're only on Gym 2, so there
there's
is
time.
time.
For disappointment. Okay, so friends, we are actually going to get into what comes in the Pokemon Happy Meal. First off, as you can see, they have this box where I guess you can put the ears on the Pikachu. Some little memory game. Normal McDonald's Happy Meal there. And it comes with one of these. So, what comes in this pack here, first off, you get a pack of Pokemon cards, which we're going to open 2 of. You get an interesting little Pikachu picture frame looking thing.
That's actually really cute.
Probably not going to use it. It's probably not great for keeping the cards safe. And then just some typical McDonald's toy games. There's usually supposed to be more like stickers and stuff like that. I think they ran out. But
jeez.
we have 2 packs. So these packs consist of all of the starters from Gen 1 through Gen 8. There are 4 cards in a pack, plus Pikachu. And all of them have holographic options. What we are going for is we are going for the Pikachu. That is the goal. That's what this 25th anniversary is about. You can see the little 25th anniversary tag. These packs are currently hard to get. I have no idea if these open like they do. Hey, these are actually like, nope, they're not. Just kidding. These are paper. Okay.
Oh,
The packs are weird. That's something else. I mean, you can even see how.
I mean,
I'm not gonna
they
show
have
it
to
off,
make
but-
them. They have to make sure that the kids can open them, right?
When's the last time you saw a pack tear like this with like the paper?
Oh God, never.
That's really safe for the cards. So, I don't know where the holographic is in here. So for the first pack, it's going to be interesting. It could be on top. I have not looked. So let's see what we got. It's on top. Okay.
Yeah.
So our first one is a holographic Litten.
That's actually really cute too.
That is a cute card. I agree. We have a Grookey gang out there. A Fennekin. And a Totodile. Okay. That's pack one. Okay, so the holographic is in the front, so I need to swing it to the back. Card tricks are hard. And I need to open the paper packaging without damaging the cards.
I mean, I feel like kids are going to rip those open
Absolutely.
and destroy the cards.
So, we got Froakie, Tepig, Scorbunny, and...
Oh, that's awesome.
Holy shit! This is the card we want. Guys, this is not fixed, I promise. These came straight from the pack. Trust me, I don't have enough money to buy packs to fix cards like this.
You get it in a case. Make sure there's no lines.
Yeah, okay, hang on. Let's check. Oh, there's some whitening on the corner. Oh, no. Oh, there's whitening on all the corners. Okay, so the centering is not... Hang on, we're going to get a glare here. The centering is not bad. It's a little bit to this side. Top to bottom looks fine. Print lines? Oh, no. Is that a print line or is that part of the design? Okay, let's see if we can zoom in here. I don't know if it's going to be able to focus.
As your computer is not wanting to focus on you at all
I think
today.
there might be a line in this, but it looks like it actually might be part of the... Yeah, it's not an indent in the card. Looks like it actually might be part of the design. Okay, I need to get this in a case and a hard case right now. So these currently go for about 75 bucks on eBay.
So congrats. How many Happy Meals is that going to buy you, Criv?
I'm not selling it. It's something else. I actually have a hard case here as well from somebody who sent me cards. So we are going to double up here. This is also now going to limit how many more cases of these things I'm probably going to buy. I will leave them for somebody else. We'll probably get a couple more packs, but that is insane, friends. Okay. Well, Chasey, you're going to have to come around more often. You are definitely clearly good luck for this pack because we know my luck is awful.
Hey, that's okay. I'm usually sitting in your chat anyway.
That's true. I appreciate you coming by for today's podcast. Again, guys, make sure you check out Chasey's link down below. She is another Pokemon streamer. She is new to the Pokemon streaming game, but she recently hit affiliate. So thank you very much, Chasey. I've appreciated having you.
Yes. Thank you for having me. This has been fun.
Absolutely. And friends, as always, we do these podcasts every Monday morning at 10:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I say every Monday morning when realistically next week is going to be pushed back because I have a work thing. So it will probably be Monday night. But if you are interested in being in a future Pokemon podcast, make sure you reach out via Twitch or Twitter below or check out the Discord channel and sign up there. And as always, friends, keep spreading the love. Do what you can to make the world a better place. Remember, it is a great day to make it a great day. We got a Pikachu. It's a great day.
It's a great day for you, Griff.
And as always, friends, we will see you in the next video. So thank you for coming by and make it a great one.